using social media a lot more. In past, I haven't really been using it to its fullest extent, so recently I decided to actually stick to it and learn how to use it properly. So here is what I have learned over the past month or two. Let's start with the social medias that I use. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and I kind of use LinkedIn, but not really. So let's start with Facebook. I've been using this as a personal page. I haven't had a fan page as of yet, though when this video goes up, I'm pretty sure I would have because I really need to get onto that. So feel free to follow me there. The reason why I say I need to get on it is because I've found that Facebook has the best click-through rate. Say I'm sharing a blog or one of these videos, the best click-through rate definitely comes from Facebook, almost 4 times as much as any other social media. This may be because the people on Facebook that I am connected with are that of actual connections that I've made in the real life, or on previous social medias that have carried over. And because of this, there is a sense of duty to, okay, I'll help a friend out. Well, at least that's what I figure. But let's move on. Next, we'll touch on Twitter. Twitter I've only started using recently, but I have fallen in love with it. From what I've found, Twitter is less of a here's my opinion tool and more of a okay, I'm connecting to you, I'm connecting to you, I'm connecting to you. Now what do I mean by this? Well, when people go on Twitter, there is kind of a idea of, okay, here's my opinion, post, why isn't anybody liking it? Whereas nowadays I'm using it as a, hey, that's a cool post, let's respond to that and connect to that person, but more on that later. The next one is one that I absolutely love, and that is Snapchat. On Snapchat, I can share parts of my day, silly moments that I have, and what it does is it helps build my character brand. It helps build who I am as a person, and because of that, there is a personal connection between me and my audience, and that is amazing. One problem with Snapchat that I've found though is there is no way to grow your audience unless you are sending people from other social media. You can't go into a discover function as you would in most other social medias. It is closed off until people actively search for you. For LinkedIn, I don't really use it actively. I use it as more of a job search or updating my resume. And I know that I should be updating that in a regular fashion, but I still need to get a handle of these ones before I even attempt to handle that one. And finally, we have the one that I've been spending the majority of my time in, and that is Instagram. What I love about Instagram is, as a designer, I can make something, put it up, and then people can go, wow, that thing is cool. And instead of just having a post, it's an image. People go, that looks cool, I'm gonna click on it, I'm gonna like it, I'm gonna follow this guy. And I absolutely love that. It is easily the quickest way I've grown my audience over the past 2 months, because I like to create visually pleasing things. People like clicking on visually pleasing things, so it kind of goes hand in hand. In more recent times, Instagram has also brought out their own Snapchat, which is called Stories. And this acts pretty much exactly the same as Snapchat, except it does give you access to your Instagram followers. Now, I don't prefer one to the other. I actively upload to both. And I find that that's the key. In fact, it's one of 3 keys that I have found that help with growing your social media. The first one is a fairly simple yet technical one, and that is using hashtags. Hashtags are amazing if you know how to use them correctly. That said, you don't want to oversaturate your whole post with hashtags. Personally, the way I use them is if I'm posting on Instagram, I may have 1 or 2 hashtags in the actual thing, and then I write a comment which is the main bulk of the hashtags, because they aren't usually looked at. But again, if you are using hashtags, make sure they are in relation to what you are posting. You don't want to be creating a box and then have the hashtag circle. Hashtags are a great way to also find other people, which leads me into the second key, and that is you need to be able to connect to others. You can't expect everybody to come to you. Until recently, I never quite understood the whole connecting to an audience that isn't existent, but it has really paid off. And what do I mean by this? Well, each night, set apart half an hour to an hour where you just search hashtags and people that are creating things like you, and people that are creating things that are better than you, that are worse than you, people that are actually making things and actively using their accounts. Once you find them, interact with them. Write a comment on their post saying, I like this about your thing. Don't write a generic thing that goes, that's cool. Write something that is personalized to that post, to that person, and it will become so much more personal to them. Therefore, they will react to it. But that is the key word, personal. You don't want to go on there and make it about you. You want to make it about your connection to them. You don't want to go on and say, that's cool, you should check out my thing, because they're not going to. If you go on there and go, that's a really cool post, I like this part about how you made the light click on someone, it doesn't matter what you say as long as it's personalized to their post. Because then there is a connection where they go, oh, what's this person about? They may click through and they may follow you, but don't expect it if you're just going, this is cool, check out my stuff, thanks. Like, it's not gonna work like that. And finally, I get key number 3, and this one is so easy to understand yet so hard to execute on, and that is to create consistent content that is interesting to your audience. Now, again, simple to understand, harder to execute. Create something that people will like. People from your audience will go, that's cool, this is why I connect with this guy, this is why I follow this guy. But at the same time, don't make it months apart when you do that. For example, I like to upload something to my Instagram at least once a day, maybe multiple times a day if I have a lot of content. I also like to update my Snapchat and my stories on a daily basis. It's all about creating content so that people will consistently go, oh, this guy is actually providing content and media. This is why I should continue following him and not just unlike him. You may not like it, but without the work, you won't get anywhere. And I guess that's where I will leave it. So feel free to check me out on all the social medias, linked down below. As you can tell, I do care about this, and I am being very active on all the ones that I am active on. So again, in the description below, feel free to follow me and check me out on those. But as always, I've been Kurt, you've been the audience. Go make something!